Okay, my name is Zakashi, guys, and in this video here we're going to be doing an equipment guide for 2024. Now, since the last equipment guide that I've done on this channel, there has been a few changes to equipment in general. Nothing major, but a few tweaks here and there so it does look different. I'm going to give you everything you need to know, but first I'm going to go through basic common questions that are asked for newcomers when it comes to equipment. Then I'm going to show you the best way to upgrade your equipment so that you can aim for the highest ranks, being Z, Z+, and of course the godly equipment. Hopefully this video is going to be useful, man. Hopefully you enjoyed this video too. Let's get into this. Right, so as you can see on the screen, I've got a lot of godly equipments, and I'm going to use this for the basis of the common questions that I get asked when it comes to equipment. So the first thing I want to cover is that every single slot is of value to the unit that you apply the equipment on. So you have 3 equipments that you can put on one unit, and each equipment has 3 slots in most cases, almost 99% of the cases. Every slot is applied to the unit, of course, if conditions are met. So this equipment here that I'm using for an example, it says 12% to strike defense while there are 3 Tag Universe Rep battle members remaining. This specific equipment has a bit of a translation error, but essentially what it means is that you have to have 3 units on your team if you're running this equipment on one unit to give that one unit the buff that fits this tag. So in this case, it's Universe Rep. So if I run 2 Universe Rep members and the third one isn't Universe Rep, I will not get that 12% strike defense. That's how that equipment works. But I'd also be getting this third slot, which applies, and I'll be getting the health on the first slot as well. So you get all 3, not just one, and then you upgrade, you get the second one, you upgrade, you get the third one only. You get all 3. Another question I get asked frequently, and I'll get into this as we get further in, but is there any like secret ways or advances to get godly equipments easier? No. Equipment upgrading is one of the worser systems in the game because it's all based on luck. So if you don't get the roll you want, all you can do is try again, simply like rolling a dice or the gacha system in game. So if I go to one of my lower equipments here, if I go to like F, let me open up E, maybe there's one there, cool. Obviously you can see the first slot is a green. That already shows that when I was getting this equipment, however I got it, my luck wasn't the best because the first slot wasn't able to be a high slot, and you can see the max could be 10% on both special move and ultimate damage. That would make it a red slot if I got 10% on both of those. It could also be a yellow slot, which could be just slightly lower than those, and then of course everything below that is green. Now if I upgrade here, which I will go ahead and do for you guys, it's random whether I'll get a good slot or not. So the best slots are red, the slightly worse slots, but they're pretty much as good, are yellow, and then going down below is green. So you should aim for yellow or higher, in my opinion. Again, I can just try again with the luck for the third slot. Again, I didn't get anything great, and that's just simply how it works. There's no trick to it. You simply just have to keep trying. And with that, that's how slot removers come into play at the top left. So if I have this equipment here, I can re-upgrade it, and then I can basically make another attempt to get a better slot. So you can set it for orange or red, like this is what I was talking about earlier. I'll just set it for orange right now. I re-upgrade it, and you can see it's going to go and shuffle through the slot removers I've used. And each time I'm just trying my luck to get a good slot. So there's no trick to it. It's just fully luck. So if you see me with all these godly equipments, I've simply been putting in the work, rolling the dice for a long time, trying to get the equipments that I need. The rates could be better sometimes, but you could also just get very lucky and get all the equipments you need pretty much instantly. Another question that gets frequently asked is the difference between base blast attack and just blast attack, or in the same way, base strike attack and just strike attack. So you can see if we look at these slots here, there's a word that says base, the word that says base, the 4-letter word. There's a difference between what base would be and just blast attack on its own. So on the top, you can see I can get 15% blast attack, base blast attack, but then I can only get up to 12% pure blast attack. So I'm going to put the word pure before the word for just the general blast attack. Now the pure, you should think about it like a multiplier. It's the easiest way I can explain it. You need a lot of the base stats, and then if you multiply that base stat that's already a large number by a pure stat, you'll get an even bigger number, which basically makes your unit better. But if you have a lot of pure, you won't get a big number overall. So you need a mix of both, but more base than anything. So stack up the base with a lot of your equipment, then you should add at least 1 pure equipment. When I say pure equipment, I mean an equipment that has pure stats. So in this case, I got 12% blast attack, depending on the conditions, of course, like I explained earlier, and I can get 12% pure strike attack in the same way. So that's simplifying the base and the pure differences. quickly. This is a question I get asked a lot when it comes to the way I build teams. So you can see 3 of my units, they have equipments, but the other 3 do not. And the question I get asked is, why not? Well, the way this game works is only the units that you're using in the battlefield are impacted by equipments. So if I put equipment on Pan, it will not make a difference to Beast Gohan, because she is not Beast Gohan. The equipments are very individual and they don't add to each other. So if you see at the top, there's the ability bonus. If I add an equipment to Broly, for example, who I'm not using, the ability bonus will go up. But the ability bonus is pretty much a distraction. It doesn't actually attribute to making your whole team stronger. So in reality, when you go into battles, you're bringing 3 units. You only need to prioritize the units that you're going to bring. Now, I do understand that you could have a 6-man team and you might want to switch out the person you're gonna bring. So in that case, put equipments on people if you think you'd ever use them. But the way this team is specifically built, I have no intention of using Blue Pan. I have no intention of using Broly. I have no intention of using Trunks. So because of that, I'm only going to prioritize the top 3, and I know no matter what the enemy brings, I'm bringing those same 3, and they're the only guys that are going to have an impact for the equipments. So that's why only they have equipment. I shouldn't go through the hassle of grinding equipments for units I'm not going to use. The last thing I'm going to mention is when you're grinding equipments, you need to prioritize the first slot. So a question I would be getting in this case would be, are you able to re-roll the first slot? There is no way of re-rolling slot 1 on any equipment. It's impossible. It doesn't exist in the game. It's not a mechanic featured. So because of that, when you're grinding your equipment, however you get them, for example, if I go to the exchange shop, let's go to the dual coin shop because there's an equipment I want to try anyways. This equipment here, you can see it's there. If I go and exchange for it, with these 7, if I don't get a good slot in slot 1, I lose basically the opportunity. The equipment's useless and there's no point of further upgrading it, at least for most equipment, simply because if the first slot isn't good, even if I get a good 2nd and 3rd slot, the first slot will be holding it back, basically limiting how high you can go, the ceiling. So I'm going to try here. I might get lucky, I might not. I didn't get lucky. All green slots, you should be looking for at least orange or red. But of course I didn't get any, and simply put, these are trash. I'm not going to be able to do anything with them. It's not that you shouldn't upgrade these or any green slots, but it's just a lot more profitable if you aim for oranges and red. Now that you've got all those commonly asked questions out the way, we're going to go through how I would go through upgrading equipments to give you guys the best odds, and also so you don't waste your time. It's very important you don't waste your time or your resources actually. So what you're going to want to do, go to menu, go to wherever you want to get your equipment. So it might be through events, it might be through exchange shop, whatever equipment you want to get. For me, I'm going to go to the permanent section and go to the equipment medals so I can choose an equipment out of here. Let's use this shallot equipment. It says this will be a massacre. Now you can see the first slot, it has a double attached stat to it. So strike defense and blast defense. And the first step would be trying to get a good slot of what I want. So you're aiming for red or orange. So essentially you'd be using your equipment medals until you get the slot that you want, because a lot of them are going to show up as green, which is not what you're interested in. So you're going to exchange there. Hopefully I get one. I've got 2 yellows here, which is good. If I wanted a red, I'd just go again. I'm very like specific about my equipment. I like to get red slots. So you see in this case, I got 2 reds now, given that I've used those equipment medals. So after you've got the slot that you want, the first slot is super important because you can't exchange it, but of course it depends on the stat that it provides. Go to equipment, then you're going to actually filter. So I like to keep my filter like this so I can see exactly what's good and what's bad. And I just pretty much sell anything that's not important. So there's a lot of D's and E's, you might even be some F's. So I press the auto select. Here are my settings, so make it pretty much everything. And in most cases, almost every case actually, 100% case, if the equipment isn't a C, it won't be orange or red. So you can pretty much include everything that's F, E, or D. Sometimes there are oranges that come at D rank, but it's lower than the C rank one, so I pretty much sell it as well. But in most cases, it won't sell anything that has like a very special slot, orange or red anyways. So go press OK, and you can see it just automatically selects everything. So I'm just going to do that twice to get rid of everything. And you can see it just kept all the C's, the orange ones, and it's even kept one green C, which is quite rare to get, to be honest. I'm also just going to sell everything I don't want, which is these ones here. And I'm going to just keep this one here because it's a max. So I'm going to lock it. I like to lock the equipments that I'm going to use. So cool. We've got 2 here. I already had one, which is good. What you'd go ahead and do is then use your slot removers to upgrade it how you want to upgrade it. So you want to hope for, again, an orange and a red because you've already secured the first slot. Then you want to go for the 2nd and the 3rd one. So I'm just going to hit upgrade. Let's see how my luck's looking. I didn't get anything good that time. It's just a green. Let's upgrade it again. nothing that time. But it's got up to an S already, given that the first slot is carrying the equipment. Now, if I wanted to try again, because I want to get a better second and third slot, I'd go ahead and go to the re-upgrade section. I'd go ahead and select the slot that I want to start with. So in this case, what would I choose? Let's start with the middle one, just for sake in order. And then I'd go ahead and use as many slot removers as I need. I select what type of slot that I'm looking for. I advise you just put orange, because you might just want to settle for the orange. Reds are very, very hard to get. You press re-upgrade. It's going to take some resources, of course, and it's basically going to keep shuffling until you get that slot that you're looking for. So there, I've already got a yellow, which is quite lucky, I'm not going to lie, but there's a reason for that I'm going to explain in the next video, in the next part of this video. Going to do the same for the third slot, and it's pretty much just a factor of luck. Like I said, you just keep rolling until you get the slot that you want, and you pretty much be done after that. I don't know if it's just going to take forever, and I'm not going to sit here forever, but you basically get the gist. I'm going to give it 2 more tries just for the sake of the video. I might come out lucky, you know. Let's hope I do. Last one. Come on, lock in. Alright, no luck there. It is what it is though. It's even gone down a rank. Now at this point, if you want to go ahead and re-upgrade it to try and get a better slot, what I would do is press the middle slot and then go to guaranteed upgrade. Now there used to be a section that said secure upgrade, but they took it out the game for some law reasons in certain countries. So there's only the guaranteed upgrade, and I'd go ahead and use the slot removers and other resources that it requires, and I can basically get up a certain percentage. Now that looks like a low amount because it is, but it depends on the equipment slot that you're dealing with. So if it's like strike attack, it might go up by 90%, depending on the ceiling as well. So each equipment has its own requirements. This case, I'm only getting up 25%, so I'd go from 9.2 to 9.45, which isn't bad, but of course it is still a small amount, and it is taking kind of a few materials, so 30 slot removers just for that guaranteed upgrade. If you don't want to do that, you could of course just risk it again, then go for some more upgrades like this. You could just re-upgrade the second slot again, which I'm doing just for the video, but you can see how it's risky because now it's gone down. It could even go down again, but of course it'll go back up. But once you re-roll, you can't go back to the previous one you lost. So in me doing this, if I didn't get a yellow in this next 30 or a red in this next 30, I would have just been better off doing the guaranteed. But in most cases, if you get lucky as I did in 2 rolls, I got a yellow, you might as well just go ahead and guaranteed. In most cases, you'd probably be better off. Obviously, it depends on your luck, but it depends on the gamble you also want to take. And I think in most cases, this is a gacha game. You just kind of want to guarantee it, you know. You don't want to go through the hustle. And right now, I'm going through the hustle. I'm 9 in. I could have just sat with my yellow or guaranteed upgraded it, and it could have gone closer to red much easier. But you get the gist. It's not complicated, really and truly. But hey, I even got a lower slot than I had before. So it's a yellow again, but I got a lower slot. So I pretty much wasted my resources. Do you see why I would normally guaranteed upgrade? Now, if you thought equipment upgrading was already bad, it only gets worse. So what you're going to go through here is equipment awakening. You go to the equipment section, and then you can see there's a button here that says equipment awakening. Now this is basically upgrading some of the equipments that you have at a base level to make them even better. This takes a lot more resources, and with the same idea that there's luck based in it, you're maxing out the resources that you have to use to just go through luck. So for summoning, there's just chrono crystals, 1 currency. It's hard to get sometimes, but at least it's only 1 currency. With equipment upgrading, cool, it takes resources, but not that many, and you can just go through the shops to get the equipment at base. But for equipment awakening, you need to go through the shops. You don't need to get a good roll, which is good, but you need to get a decent enough roll because it depends on the level. So you go ahead and get the equipment that you need. Specifically, you need the base level of it. So if I show you this equipment, for example, any of these equipments, actually, any of these here, you can see any of these here that can awaken, you need the base level of it. And if you don't get what I mean, I'm going to show you here. So if I go to the archive, and if I go to filters, and I'm going to pick here, let's go to gold, and I'm going to change the tag to, let's go Fusion Warriors, right? So you see this equipment here on the right, it says hurrah, or whatever it says, right? This equipment can awaken, but you need the base equipment to awaken it, and I'll show you that further. So if I go back out to equipment awakening, and I actually find the equipment in this section here, if I scroll down, it should show up in a bit. I could also change this to Fusion Warriors actually, so I don't bother my eyes and waste you guys' time. It might just be Fusion actually once it awakens, which is annoying. Alright, there we go. Fusion, it'll pop up. There we go. You see it here. Here's the equipment. you go ahead and press into it, select it, and you can see you require A's of that equipment too. Then you require some silvers. Now, good for you, you do not need to get any silvers. It's silver or higher, so just go for golds. It will save you a lot of time. So I'm going to back out here, go to exchange shop, and what you're going to, actually let me go to the archive, it's faster this way. If I go to equipment, go to archive, and I find the equipment that I wanted to awaken, so in this case it was this one, you can go to how to get. And then I go to the exchange shop, here, claim it, go ahead and get as many as I can. I'm going to use this amount, for example. Again, you don't need a high level version of it to awaken. You just need to go ahead and upgrade it. So you go back to equipments, then you're going to want to go to upgrade all. Now this is the tedious part. You got to upgrade all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade all of these. It's going to take a while, but it is what it is. You go ahead and upgrade all of these. I'm going to use these lot as an example. Let me just do a second lot of 10. I gotta press all of these. It's a very long task, but it's the only way to get these good equipments. I've got a couple good ones now. So I go ahead and equipment awaken. I go back to the equipment. I also need some of these, so I'm just gonna get like 5 for the video. Go ahead there, nice. Now I can go ahead and actually select it. What you want to do is auto select, or you can do it manually depending on if you don't lock your equipment. So you'd have to find them, of course. So I'd be going to A, B, and then I'd be scrolling to where they are, then you can select them manually accordingly. You can see it's taken a lot of those out of this. And then if I go to the silvers, it's taken a lot of these Bs. So like I said, it's silver or higher, so you don't need specifically a silver one. And then you just go ahead and press confirm. It's going to take these fragments, and I'll show you how to get the fragments in a second as well. Quite annoying as well. Go ahead and upgrade, then you try your luck. You see I got a D, not the greatest, but it wasn't the weakest either. But you have to keep doing that. Keep doing that until you get the slot that you want, which is very, very inconvenient. Now, if you want the fragments, the main way to get them is Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush, which I've already completed, but it's this mode here. You go ahead and press it, and you can see there's these rushes here. You need to play through all of them. That's a whole completely different thing, but it's just a way to get them. You can also get them from the exchange shop in the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush shop at the bottom. All the fragments are here, and there's obviously some certain events that you can get fragments in the game as well. But that pretty much covers everything about Equipment Awakening. It's the most tedious process in the game, but in a lot of cases it is worth it because there's often the best equipment in the game through Equipment Awakening. It's an investment you have to make. Now this is going to be the last section of the video, and it's essentially the best time to ever upgrade equipment or chase equipment. Now there's a thing in the game that happens at least once a month. It's called a bonanza, equipment bonanza, and what it does is basically increases the rates of percentages that you can get when you're upgrading equipment. Like I've gone through in this video, equipment upgrading is all luck based. So if you have a higher chance of getting a higher rate percent equipment, then you should take it, which is why you should upgrade equipment specifically during the upgrade bonanza. So you're going to see it's right here, and it's actually on right now at the time I'm making this video. This equipment bonanza, how long does it last? Let me see. Does it say? I think it says it lasts from the 22nd all the way to the 31st. So the end of the month, which is like 8 days, 9 days. Not long, but cool. You can see here, during this event, a bonus value will be added when upgrading equipment, making it easier to create equipment with higher effect values than usual. So you can see here it says eligible for campaign. That's the equipment upgrade bonanza that they're referring to. If you see the orange at the bottom right where it says eligible for campaign, that means the equipment bonanza is on. But what you also need to know is not all equipments are working for the bonanza. So let me show you an example. If I go to equipment here, let me go to the C's. I have some good equipment here that I can show you an example of. I'm pretty sure. I don't. All right, cool. I have another one I can go show you anyways. Let's go to Z. All right, this one here. You see this equipment here? Usually equipments have like ranges. So if we see base health 5 to 15, strike defense 10 to 35, you see the point. In this middle one, you see 5 to 8. If you ever see an equipment that has something like this, it doesn't have ranges, it has options. So you can either get inflicted damage, you can get inflicted damage 20%, or you can get inflicted damage, special move, and ultimate damage, all three. So you won't be able to get the first option, the second option, and the third option. You'll be able to get one of them. How these equipment works, it's completely different to normal percentage based equipment. So in this case, I'm going to show you an upgrade. It even says this ability is not eligible for campaign. So if I go ahead and try re-upgrade it, there's no chance of me getting a higher percentage based thing because it's basically option based. So it's 1, 2, or 3. So your odds are not especially higher. It's just regular. So if you ever want to upgrade one of these slots, do not focus on the bonanza. So you see I got the middle one there, which is not exactly what I was looking for. You want to be looking for the third slot with these equipment, so I'm going to set it to red. I won't probably get the red one. I have no way of telling. It's luck based, but this is just the one thing that I wanted to show you for this equipment, for this section of the equipment upgrade video. Another piece of equipment that don't apply for the bonanza are tournament power equipments, which I actually noticed that recently. If you're wondering where you can get them, go to the exchange shop, go to the rare medals down here, TLP, all these equipments here, they do not have the bonanza activated on them, and I can show you here. So if I change my filter, have the Z's on, then I turn on tournament power specifically, you can see some of them will pop up. I have some that are not best upgraded. Let me try find one of those and use them as an example. So you can see this one here, none of the slots are, none of them on every single equipment. The tournament power ones, they do not work with the bonanza. That's also something you want to point out. So yeah, if you're trying to upgrade, is there anything that has a percentage based thing that's not TLP or those equipments with triple options, but everything else is free game, is the best time for you to upgrade equipments within the bonanza. That's going to be the end of the video. That should pretty much cover every bit of detail when it comes to equipment. If there's anything that I missed or any questions that you have, please be sure to leave any questions down below. I will get to them eventually. But of course, I appreciate you guys for watching the video, man. Press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 100,000 subscribers. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.